Hey guys, Jen with Astro Tea. So today we are talking about eclipse season starting, and that is on March 14th, 2:45 or 2:54. I'm sorry, my dyslexic's kicking in first thing in the video. And that is AM Eastern Standard Time. Here we have the full blood moon, and that is our total lunar eclipse in Virgo at 23 degrees 56 minutes. So this eclipse should be visible all over the United States. So if you're in the United States, if you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you should see it. So it's called the blood moon because the moon passes through the darkest part of the Earth's shadow, blocking light and making the moon appear that orangey red color. So it should be pretty cool if you guys are up to see it. As with any eclipse, the sun and moon are close with the lunar nodes, which makes it an eclipse. And the lunar nodes are also known as Rahu and Ketu. And this is the moon's orbital plane is closest to the Earth's orbital plane. For example, the full moon would be within 11 degrees of the nodes, and the new moon would be 17 degrees, and that's what makes them eclipses. This eclipse is actually within 5 of the south node, which is K2. So that is why it is a total lunar eclipse. So K2 or the south node is called the dragon's tail. So if you imagine the north node as the dragon's head, and that is Rahu, and that's going towards, that is taking in, going towards your potential. And then the south node, the dragon's tail, is K2, and that is kind of moving away from releasing or putting something in the past, or something that is from the past, maybe from a past life or something like that, that you have brought into this, something that you're very comfortable with, that's your comfort zone. So a south node eclipse is a release. So it's letting go, and it's like a karmic completion, pretty much. This is our Virgoian eclipse. So themes of relief will have to do with our health and our everyday, routines, our jobs, our habits, and the things that, pretty much that we do every day on a daily basis, how we serve others and how we serve ourselves, and how we contribute to society, pretty much. This can also be our idiosyncrasies, our practicality, modesty. We may have to release that strictness, that narrow-mindedness. Now we can be a little more lenient, a little more tolerant, and proud of ourselves instead of being that martyr. A little more self-confident also, because this is a full moon. We've worked hard. Also when we may be overly critical of ourselves, over analyzing everything. Virgo can be very critical and can be very judgmental, and a lot of times that is very inward, so it's on ourselves. So you want to be more, don't overanalyze everything, don't second guess everything that you do. Be more accepting of yourself and how you are, and maybe your kind of kooky weirdness, whatever that is. Be more accepting. Don't try and be something you're not, and be appreciative of others' efforts as well. So if you are overly a critical person and you're always, oh, this one didn't do this and this wasn't done to this extent, maybe kind of lighten it up a little bit around this time, because things are kind of coming to a head. We need that kind of jolt of a change to kind of get us in a new mindset. And we blend this with where it falls in our charts and what house it's in, to really kind of fine tune how this is going to affect you, to see what areas of your life that you need to be maybe a little less critical. Where do you need to let go of things a little bit? Where do you need to let go of, something that maybe you're just holding on to so tight, and, you don't want to let it go. You just have that feel like if you let it go, you're letting your power go, but it actually is just letting things go that maybe need to be taken care of by somebody else, or need, you know, like, oh, well, I'm the mom, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to take care of the house has to be spotless at all times. It doesn't have to be. This is that critical time where you're going to want to change that mindset. So everything doesn't always have to be perfect to be acceptable. You know, your house can be a little bit messy, and I know how that is. I'm a super, perfectionist, and I like everything a certain way. Well, because I have these two monsters, it's really hard to keep your house looking good all the time. So you kind of have to be a little less critical of yourself. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Now, I'm not telling you to settle. Definitely not saying that. And you don't want to settle for good enough. But just be open-minded to how good something can be that might not have been what was previously desirable to you. To kind of see the good in things instead of always being that critique, like, oh, I don't like, these type of people. I don't know, like these, I don't like dogs. I only like cats, which is total craziness. But you never know. So just, it's all about keeping that open mind, because something is going to kind of give you that, like, just kind of that little, like, oh, okay. With the full moon, and it's an eclipse, it's a little more of a jolt than just a normal full moon. And this is really, again, about acceptance and open-mindedness, being able to balance practicality with spiritualism. And you want to also, look inside yourself to see how you've grown, to see how things have changed and developed since that new moon back in September, the new moon in Virgo back in September, I think September 6th. But you want to see, what have you changed? What have you been working on? What have you been focusing on? And what do you feel like you need to let go of? What's kind of holding you back a little bit? Now, this moon will be opposing Saturn and Neptune, because they are in Pisces, and so they're right near. I think the sun is smack dab right in the middle of them. Again, what have we learned? So Saturn, that is just like, okay, what work have we put in, and what have we achieved, and what can we continue to achieve with this full moon? What are we going to then, pass down and kind of delve out as the moon starts disseminating? What are we disseminating? Which is, what are we releasing and getting rid of, or giving to others? Maybe some of the knowledge that we've gotten. Where have we matured, grown? Where have we adapted? Because we also have Neptune in there. And what corrections in our everyday lives need to be made, or were already made with that, like, quarter. Sorry, my cat's all over the place. What responsibilities have we become more maybe obsessive about? What responsibilities have we maybe tried to let go of a little bit that we might need to let go of a little bit more? Maybe, if you're at your job, you take on everything. Maybe it's time to kind of give a little bit of that away, and not feel so, I have to do this. Don't feel like everyone depends on you for everything. Maybe they do, but maybe it's about time to release that and let them figure it out themselves, because there comes a time where enough is enough and you have to let go. And you don't need to feel that guilt all the time about maybe wanting to pull away a little bit for something that needs to be left in the past. So what have we been over delusional about? Maybe how can we let that go? Has there been something that we've been trying to, maybe in a relationship, for instance, or it could be with a job, or it could be anything, who knows what, maybe in our own family lives, that we're trying to make things work within our families, and or with our jobs, with our relationships, and it's just not going to work. And we just have to say, we've been a little bit delusional about this, and now it's time. So we have that opposition with Neptune. It's time to really let go and just say, like, okay, enough is enough. And this could be in our jobs, our health, and just our everyday life again. So we also have going on with this is a trine to Uranus and a wider sextile to Mars. Now, this could be kind of like that wake up call. And this is what I mean. This adds that little extra this little extra like jolt to this already, big full moon lunar eclipse. So it's going to be something I think that's going to be brought to light, especially if it's in key parts of your chart. Something that all of a sudden is going to be that aha moment that, like, okay, now I have to do this. I have to let go. Like, I am done with this job. I am done with this car. If it's in your third house, I'm done with this, whatever it could be. Who knows what it could be, but it's that jolt that you're just going to be like, all right, enough is enough. And then how are we going to disseminate from that? What are we going to let go of and kind of give away a little bit? So the lunar eclipse again is going to trine Uranus, which will give us that adaptability to make those changes. So we have that adaptability of that mutable Virgo, and then the change maker, which is Uranus. So along with the sextile to Mars, you're going to just get pushed out of your comfort zone. It's okay. You can do it. Don't feel guilty. That is a big thing that can happen with Virgo. It could be a lot of guilt. It could be a lot of anxiety. Then I also encourage you all to really look up and pay attention to your bodies, because Virgo is also about our bodies and our health and the everyday habits that could be affecting these. So maybe this is something that you have to release. Maybe bad habits that you have, smoking, drinking, other things that aren't so good for you. It also could be just like that obsessive compulsive behavior, but also it could be just your health in general. So is there something that maybe has been bothering you that you just can't ignore? Maybe you have that pain that won't go away. Maybe you get headaches constantly and you can't figure out why. You have that sore throat, something going on in there. Pay attention to your bodies, because now you need to get that checked out. If it's been bothering you for a while, it could be coming to a head, and you want to take care of it before it's too late with that disseminating moon that's coming after. Okay, so if we don't take care of it, how are we going to deal with it? Okay, are we going to have to go to chemotherapy? Are we going to have surgery? What's going to happen? So you want to take control right now of your body and pay close attention to any odd symptoms that you might be having. And you want to act now, because it could be something simple, something nothing. Say you have a mole that's overly not looking that good, you want to get it checked out. Anything like that that's been bothering you a little bit, you want to get that checkup. And maybe it's just your health in general. Maybe you're feeling a little sluggish, you're tired, you're gained a few pounds over the holidays, and maybe it's time to maybe start ramping up that workout routine. Did you make a sacrifice or promise for, say, the new year? And that's already kind of faded away since it's been 3 months. Well, we have Lent going on now. That started on Wednesday with Ash Wednesday. Did you make any vows there? Because if you did with this full moon, this could be something, if you really concentrate on it, it could be something that you take with you for the future. It could become an actual good habit, a new good habit, something new to obsess or focus on. Maybe if it's a workout routine again, or healthy eating, or something, doing something besides having a couple of drinks every night, and instead you're doing something a little bit healthier, just having tea or something like that. Maybe you're going to make a new good habit out of it. So I also imagine this, in the workforce area. It's like Clark Kent kind of, with that Uranus, ripping open his shirt to show his true identity, to show that big S on there, because we have that Saturn. Okay, I worked hard and I'm, I've done this, and now I'm pulling the curtain back, because that is that Neptune, and we're going to do it suddenly. So that's just what I picture. It's just Clark Kent pulling his shirt open, show your true identity, to show everyone who you really are. with the Uranus trine and Mars sextile. So again, I use the work reference. Maybe you've been holding who you really are, holding back. Maybe it's even with your family. Maybe you've been, your obsession is in astrology and people will make fun of you or you're afraid of that. Well, now you just lay it out there and just see what happens, because I am willing to bet that you'll be surprised at how accepting people really are. And I think a lot of others will end up following suit, and you maybe will find some new things that you have in common. I know in my work that I just started, a lot of people, they have been bringing in crystals and stones and things like that. And I was afraid to do those things at first because I didn't know if I would get judged, because I'm just like everybody else. You don't want to go in and, have everyone think that you're just kooky if they don't understand, but these people all understand. So you can be as kooky and weird as you want to. Just be open, be who you are, and you'll find out a lot of times, again, you'll have things in common with others. The moon sextile to Mars will have people being more accepting, and the moon is in Virgo, so Mars is in Cancer. So we have that kind of compassion there a little bit. And, just kind of like, okay, I understand that, empathy. Mercury will be stationing at 9 degrees of Aries, slowing down to go retrograde, and will be conjunct Venus, who is at 7 degrees of Aries. Now they're going to be kind of hanging out for a while together, really just hand in hand for the next, I think it's about 6 weeks or 5 weeks or so. So a lot of communication. This could be maybe things coming up from the past that are coming back to bite you, things that you've talked about. Maybe you have to rediscuss it. Maybe you have to you look back, and maybe you want to rekindle that fire that you once had. Maybe you've kind of lost that with your partner in a way. Or what have you lost in general? Is it money? Maybe you've been gambling your money away, because Venus has to do with money. Mercury has to do with kind of finding things out. Maybe you found out that your stock market's crashing, or something's going on, or someone's been, taking money out of your account, or who knows what. You want to look into that. Keep an eye on that. You want to look at what you lost. Did you lose your romance? Have you lost a lot of passion in your relationships? Have you even lost your own identity? Again, you want to be yourself. You don't want to have an identity that is only you and your partner. You want to, be your own true self and really excel as yourself. And then you guys can grow together. So maybe you want to look back a little bit and see where things might have went a little bit wrong, and kind of reconfigure that with this full moon. And then how are you going to move forward with it, with what you've learned with that Saturn? Look at that Saturn, look at that Neptune. What have you been delusional about? What have you learned, and where have you grown, and where have you matured, and how are you going to move forward in your relationships with that information? If you're single, maybe you are tempted to contact an ex, perhaps, and pushing send on that, that text without really thinking it through. I don't always think it's a great idea, but who knows? Maybe you guys have both grown. Maybe this is someone that you knew way back in elementary school that you had and you were crushing on for years, and then all of a sudden he hits you up on whatever the social medias are that's cool nowadays. And I'd say Facebook, but I'm not sure how cool that is anymore. So, but something like that, maybe something good could come of it. I wouldn't really get into a relationship right now, but talking about the past a little bit, and kind of, reliving the past, might be a fun thing to do. But I really wouldn't start getting into a serious relationship until Venus starts going direct again. So since this will be visible through much of the United States, we are going to look at the US Sibley chart a little bit. So this is going to be happening in the 10th house of the US, and that is the house of our government, our leaders, prominent people in our society, and their influences on us as a society. Big businesses, and now this is also conjunct their Neptune of the United States. So we have Mercury about to go retrograde and Venus already retrograde. So I think, again, and I've said this before, with US's Neptune trine Uranus and sextile to Mars, I think that a lot, again, is going to come up about things from the past. I think maybe news will be brought out about things. We're going to go back to move forward. Neptune is idealism. It also is, maybe the wool pulled over your eyes a little bit. I know that they're talking about releasing all the evidence in when JFK got shot way back in 69. I'm not sure what the year was. I'm sorry. So that is about going back, digging things up from the past. So, or just with going back and seeing where money has been given out, because this is about Venus going retrograde. Well, where has the government been sending all this money to? Where's all our taxes been going? And I think we're looking at a lot of this with a lot of the new departments that are going on in the government as of right now. So I think that disillusionment, it can be with that savior complex as well. So I know a lot of people are looking at Trump like, oh, he's going to save the world. He's going to change everything. He's going to make America great again, and everything's going to be fantastic. This can show some deception as well there. But I also think that a lot of people are delusional too when it comes to him. He's a very polarizing figure. So either you think he's the greatest thing in the world, or you think he's pretty much Satan himself coming back to the world to make his mark and destroy everything. But I think that delusion is going to come to a little bit of reasoning, and some of that skepticism and that overly criticalness that Virgo can be, that narrow-mindedness that has divided this country and divided our views, I think is going to kind of wane a little bit. I think this is going to be a very big month for that. A very big month that we start really seeing these changes coming out, where you just have to be like, okay, let's stop this. Like, this is getting ridiculous, y'all. Like, can't we all just get along? I don't know if you're all too young for that, but so the infamous words of Rodney King way back in the day, can't we all just get along? We don't have to be divided. We can be united. This is the United States, for God's sakes. So how are we going to move forward as a nation? Pretty much. This is also sextile to Algol in the US chart, trying to Pluto, sextile Mercury. So a lot of people are going to be losing their heads, and people, like, you can see people already going mad, just acting crazy, and just like, calm down and let's let things play out, because it might not be that bad and you're just going crazy. But I think a lot of people are also going to be losing their heads in another way, and it's because of the information that is going to be filtered out. And I think that a lot of people, not losing their heads in the literal sense, but in the figurative sense, where they kind of like lose that popularity and lose that that ideology maybe that we've had for them, because these are prominent people in society that I think are going to be where the main focus is. This could be celebrities and whatnot. So I know I've said it before, but the past is going to come back and bite a lot of people in the ass, especially those in power and those that are in the spotlight. So they might be come crashing down. And I think ultimately it's probably going to be good for the country, because I think it's going to help to see, like, have people realize, okay, this is going on, and now how do we move forward? It's going to be difficult, just like, when you find out information, you have to decide, am I going to do something with this information, or am I just going to tuck it away and ignore it? So now I think it's going to be at that time, especially during this eclipse season, that we can't look away and we have to go forward and actually deal with it and actually go head on into it. So again, it may make us a lot less skeptical, so we can try and unite together as a nation. Look into your relationships, y'all. Try and fix things that may have gotten stale. I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of going back and just like, okay, am I going to let this go, or am I going to go ahead and try and fix it? Because we are at that critical point right now. Big things are about to happen, things coming to light, and a lot of changes in the future. So make sure that you hit that notification bell and subscribe, because it really helps to boost the channel. Please leave comments. I'd love to hear what y'all have to say. What do you think is going to be happening? How is this going to play out for you in your life? What do you think you need to release to be able to move forward? So again, don't forget to subscribe. I'll put a link here at the bottom, over here. So I hope to see y'all soon. Bye.